welcome back to another Fabulous Show. I'm Jacob Books Corner, and today we're doing my March wrap-up. I will have to mention that this is the 30th of March, so I still have 2 more days. The book I'm reading today is not that long, and I do have plans to start another one, so I'm thinking it's actually going to be 36 books read in March, not 34. But I don't really know. Ooh, this book could take me the next 2 days. Who knows? So, that being said, this is the amount of books I've read this month. And this is the amount of pages I read this month as well. That number looks a little different from what I'm talking about. That's because there's a few extra books I haven't talked about. Let's go ahead and jump into this. There is no in particular order. There is a portion of the video that when we get to it, I'll talk about the video that I filmed. Then I'm going to jump over to Jacob, who wrapped up the books because I physically had them at that moment in time. I knew I would not have them at this moment. So being said, let's go ahead and get started. I want to start with all the books I don't physically have a copy of first, and if they go to something else. We'll also talk about that. The first one we're going to talk about is Gacho Akuta. If you see me staring down, I have my tablet in front of me, which has Storygraph, which will tell me all the books I read. So Gacho Akuta, I read volume 2 and volume 3. Both these were 3 stars. I don't think I'm going to continue on with the series. I had planned to binge read all the ones that were in English so far. It's just not hitting it for me, at least not yet. Maybe I'll make my way back eventually. This is about a boy who is sent to the underbelly of a world. Essentially, there's this world in like a sphere, and they throw the trash off, and there's people who live in the trash, and he gets sent down to the trash people. It just wasn't for me. One of my really close friends loves it, so I was trying to read it for her. Then we have Playing for Keeps. Playing for Keeps by Alexandria Belford. I think I read it as an audio arc, but I think it's out now. This follows 2 publicists, one of a pop star, one of a football player. When they start dating, the publicists also start to date, and it is very much Taylor Swift fan fiction, but not in a bad way. It's just in a fun way, and I can't say that it fully worked for me, but that's mostly the relationship stuff. I just didn't really like everything. But that's the gist of it. It is spicy, in case you're interested. You only get the perspective of the publicist, so the relationship of the other people are not really that big. Also, because they are such big, since they're so good at their job, the actual third actness of all this is really annoying in my opinion. I'm giving it a 3.25. The Black Girl Survives in this one is the next one by Desiree Evans. This is a short story collection. At this point in the month, I was reading short stories every single day, and then life happened and I haven't read one since today. So that sucks. This is March 5th. We're back into our short stories. But with Black Girl Survives in this one, I had a lot of good wins and a lot of not. I was actually going to tell you the breakdown so you could figure out what stories you wanted to read. I don't have that information in front of me because I didn't think that far ahead. I'm giving it a 4 though. The next one we're going to talk about, I'll talk a little bit more about it in my quarterly wrap up, but I also read Shy Girl. This was before Shy Girl came out as an AI book. However, there were murmurs online that it was an AI book. When I was doing research, I was reading it, I got an e-arc of it, the audio arc of it months ago, I want to say 4 months, 5 months ago, and I just had not gotten around to it because everybody kept talking about how it's so brutal and how it's so gross, and I was just really anxious to read it because I was I don't know if I'm in the mood for something so disturbing. I don't really know if I have a place to be able to talk about the AI-ness of it all. I'm an author. This is an author space. I just love books, and so I just want to talk about books, and I'm just telling you my ratings, and don't take anything further than that. I will have to say that by the end I was pretty much convinced of there being AI usage as well. I think there's even a section of the book where there's a prompt that didn't get deleted, being spooks this up or something, and I do have a lot of issues with that. I did give it 1.5 stars, and we will talk about it. We'll talk about it again in my quarterly wrap up. Then I read the Tea Dragon Society. This is just a cute little graphic novel. I think it's getting re-released, a special edition of it, because I got an e-arc of it, and it's been out since 2017, so it's something new. It's just these 2 people who have little tea dragons, and it's cute. I gave it a 4. It's very chill, very sweet, in case that's something you're interested in. I read Audition by Kate Kamara. I don't think I can do this book justice while talking about it. I did give it a 3. This is because I'm a part of Books and Law's Besties, and that was the book club pick, so I read that. Audition, it was so hard to describe. It's so hard to talk about. It was such a good book club pick, though, to be honest with you, because there's so much to talk about. Part 1 and Part 2 are so vastly different. We're following this woman as she's going to have dinner with this person, and we're figuring everything out as we go on. I really don't know how to describe this to you. Other people have done it more justice. I've seen it on the internet, so if you want a good more review of it, I recommend going there. I did give it a 3. Then I read Sonia, The Superpowers by Dan Abbott. This is read Sonia. I feel like I'm picking up one of these a month at this point. I gave it a 3.25. I liked it a little bit better than the medieval one that I read last month. The next one we'll talk about is Her Last Breath by Taylor Adams. This is about a woman who gets stuck in a cave with a killer, and she's trying to survive, and she's put in a very rough position, and we're following the story after the fact, so you have an idea who survived and everything, and it builds tension. Also hearing the first-hand account from the witness and also the police detective who's trying to figure it out. And I fucking adored this. This is a 4.5. Hard for me to give thrillers a 5 nowadays. This is a twisty turny one. I thought it was pretty straightforward, and it was not, which I enjoyed, so I would recommend. The next one we're going to talk about is For Human Use by Sarah J. Pierce. This is another 26 and 26. It's crazy. I'm going through these pretty quickly, and I have my hands on some of them. For Human Use, I wanted to love. I wanted to adore this book. This is about a story. I love weird books, and this was just right up my alley, I feel like. This is about a guy who creates an app who you can basically swipe left or right on dead bodies, and they can get delivered to your house. They don't decompose. They just sit there with you, and a lot of people find it very healing and very transportive, and that's what the whole point of the book is. However, the book is following so many different storylines, and a lot of them I just did not care about. I felt like it was too long, and it ran forever, and I just wanted to hear about certain things, and I just wouldn't get it. Like, I think maybe this novella and a little bit better structured. I feel like I could have really liked it. I'm giving it a 2.75. Then we also have Agus Herbert's Mystical Cat Shelter by Heather Faucus. This was another random read for me. I think I saw it in a video, someone talking about it, and it was like witchy cats, and I was like, I gotta read it, and so I picked it up immediately. I did not like her other one. I think I gave it like a 2.75. Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia to Fairies. And I didn't care for this one either as much. This is about a woman who homes sheltered cats, and she has like 30 or 40 in the beginning of the book, and her place is it either gets burned down or it's going through construction. She has to move, and so she ends up leasing out this building that she knows eventually she'll get kicked out of once they realize how many cats she has, and most people won't accept that. But what she doesn't realize is that the building itself is a little magical. And that's all I'll say. I gave it a 3.25. I felt like it was really cute, really fun, but was not my favorite. Next one is Dungeon Crawler Carl Volume 1, the graphic novel by Matt Dinman. This is the only Dungeon Crawler Carl thing I've given so far that's 5 stars. Princess Donut is everything to me, like literally everything. I think she's becoming my new favorite character I've ever read from. I don't even know how to describe it to you. I love this cat with all my entire life. I'd recommend the series because of it, but her being materialized, oh my god, it's the best thing I've ever seen in my life, and I'm so excited. I'm obsessed with this series, don't get me wrong. It just hasn't wowed me to the point of a 5 yet. They're all like 4.5s, 4.75s, so they're really, really high rated. I really, really do like them, but like, oh, it wows me. Also, the broiness of the first book, which did take me out a little bit, is completely gone from this adaptation, which I do love because we're not from Carl's perspective. It's like, we're getting everything Carl sees, but it's a little different, and I really do like it. This follows a world where aliens come and they destroy a bunch of shit, and then they open up these dungeons below for all humans to play this game. They don't realize that when they go into it, and they have to survive, and a lot of humans don't. We're following 2 people who are surviving, and I fucking adore it. It's a lit RPG, which means there's like a lot of statistics and stuff in it as well. Really fun. It feels like playing a video game, and I feel like this is a beautiful adaptation. I don't think this comes out until June or July or not, but you can read it on Webtoons in case you're a fan of the series and you didn't know that. I didn't know that. I did get an e-arc copy of the graphic novel. I'm continuing on with it in Webtoon form because I just wanted to so bad. I was like, I need more of this, and it allowed me to. And then the last one we'll talk about is Just Friends by Haley Pham. Once again, I have like a whole other stack of books we're going to talk about. The last book I don't physically have is Just Friends by Haley Pham. Just Friends follows Blair and Declan as they re-meet after being away from each other for 4 to 5 years. It is a second chance, sweet romance, friends to lovers. When they're in high school, they started out being friends, and they jumped into a more relationship type of thing. Something bad happens. They don't talk to each other for a really long time. And now we are back. These people, as they're adults, as they're trying to figure out life. This is a book that kept going in a direction I didn't really care for. I did not mind the writing. I don't want to say anything negative about it either, really. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't really have a lot of negative things. I just felt like it was a very sweet romance. I found it to be very boring. There wasn't a lot of intensity about it. The one thing I will compliment it greatly is the conversation about grief. I think it's very well handled in how it does affect your relationships. I think I think it was really well done. But that's all I can really say on that. First things first, we're going to jump over to a Jacob on a Different Day who recorded a video where I read a bunch of my little sister's books. It's already up on the channel. I'll link you over to it. But I did go ahead and film a little bit of a wrap-up portion of this video when I had the book. So let's go ahead and jump over to him. He'll tell you the ratings and how I feel in the moment. Hi, welcome to this section of the wrap-up. Essentially, I filmed a video this month where I read a bunch of books that were from my little sister's library over the course of a few days while I was dog sitting, and I wanted to run through them as I'm not going to have copies of them, and I'm not going to go search out for copies of these things either. And since I do have all the copies, I figured we could run through them in this like little random section. So I will also link you to the full-length video that I did on this as well. It should be posted by the time this video comes out. The first thing I read for it was Elemental, the junior novelization version of this. This is just someone came in to write it and for Disney, and it's just the movie just in writing form. I gave it a 3.25. I guess I gave the movie a 3.5. I have a lot more fond memories over Elemental than I think I actually liked. Another one, I picked up 3 Captain Marvel graphic novels. They're all part of the same series. They all follow the same characters, and so you have to read them in order. This is the first one. This is Captain Marvel 2019 edition is what it's been called, at least to me. And so this is her run as that. This is a 3-star. This is a 3.25 star. This was a This was a 3.25 star. This was a 2.75 star. I liked them, so they were fine. This follows Captain Marvel as she has to deal with several different like Avenger level events. Essentially, is what it is. And some of them worked and some of them really did not. Then I read Warrior Cats. So I read book volume 1. I tried Warrior Cats as a series before and I did not really care for it. And so I went ahead and picked up them as graphic novels as my sister did have them. I was like, okay, I'll try them. And so I did read Warrior Cats book 1 and book 2 and 3 and 4 as graphic novels. The first one I gave a 3.5. I actually really liked it and I felt like these worked much better in a graphic novel setting. I understood the cat's intent a little better, and also them being cats did not weird me out nearly as much as reading about it for some reason. And I also read the second one, which I gave a 3. I will probably pick up the third volume. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's not the point here. Then I read Nancy Drew. This is a case file. This is case file number 2. This is Deadly Intent. Was really racist, in my opinion. This is about Nancy Drew. She is looking for a kidnapped rock star from her favorite band, and I gave it a 2.5. My opinion on this is the fact that Nancy Drew is not very Nancy Drewing it inside this at all, and I've learned that that's pretty much very much the case for Nancy Drew, is that she was just someone who was okay at solving mysteries. It has 80 language in it, which is, it's just very racist, and this book can't stand the test of time. I also read Wings of Fire, book number 3, the graphic novel. I tried reading this as a physical book. I'm not even putting it on a DNF. I only got like 30 pages into it. Actually, I might play it on my DNF list, so we'll put them both here, because I do think I'm gonna try it as an audio, because I still want to keep giving the series a try, as I feel like my little sister loves it so much. And there's so many people who have reached out to me when I did talk about the first few in the series at one point on my channel who want to know more because their kids are into it or the kids want to get into it and they want to figure out what's appropriate, what's not appropriate. And so I do think I'll make a whole spoiler video for you. If there's any of these other kid series you're like, oh, I need to know because my children want to read them, or you think your children are going to want to read them eventually, let me know in the comments down below. We have The Hidden Kingdom. I didn't really like it as a book. I just don't really like TJ Sutherland's writing, and I didn't really like it as a graphic novel. I felt like it was kind of boring. They're probably both going to be 3s, but I landed on like an actual 3 for this because this is the one I did actually finish. And I'll put this as a DNF on my radar, so if you see it on my Goodreads profile or anything like that, it's just a DNF. Okay, there we go. And then we also have the last one, which is Mesh and the Bad Demon. This follows a girl named Mesh, and she is a bad demon. Now, people believe she's a bad demon, but she's not. She ends up going up into heaven, where her princess that she loves waits her, and they go on a journey together to save the people and down below. It's a whole thing. You can pick up the messaging. I didn't care for it. I gave it a 2.7. No, I gave it a 3. I still didn't really care for it, and I wouldn't really recommend it. Those are the books I did read. Alright, and then let's jump into the physical books. There is books that I've already written. We'll talk. The reason why I didn't do a promotional thing is I do have a book coming out. Should be coming out, I think it's the week after this. Called Gunshot Residue, the complete edition. We'll talk a little bit more about it as we run through the Gunshot Residue series, which I did do a reread of as I'm reformatting, re-editing. I just reread my own work. So it's a good time. Let's talk The Future Saints by Ashley Winstead, another 26 in 26 for me. I pick 26 books out I picked a certain number of books out every year and read them and do a wrap-up video on it. this is a part of that video. The Future Saints is a story that follows the Future Saints, essentially. So there's a guy who comes in, they haven't sold a record in a long time, but they're still in a contract deal. And so he goes in, he axes people. He essentially gets one last record, whatever the last record is, that this company needs from them, and then he cuts them loose from their deal. So he goes in, and the main character, Hannah, is going through something very tragic, and she's dealing with immense grief, and so her writing has changed significantly, and the sound of the Future Saints has also changed to reflect that grief. And so we're following both that storyline and their brewing relationship, essentially. And I gave it a 3.25. I guess I don't like it because there's like a few reasons why it didn't really work for me. The modern setting did not click. There's several different things that they're doing in here that just didn't feel like it made a lot of sense with the modern setting. I don't think a lot of pop stars, rock stars, whatever, act this way anymore. I think there's a certain point in time, which is why I feel like these work better as historical period pieces. Period pieces mean like the 80s, but you get my point. Also, and there's other books I like better. Next one is we have Just Stab Me Now. This was a did not finish. I read about the first 30%, I think, and I did not care for it. I mean, I like it. I will go back. This is a softie enough, is what I like to call it. Essentially, I just probably should have physically read it, and the audiobook is something I've been really looking forward to reading, and so I actually pushed off reading this from the time it came out because I wanted to read it as an audio, because I enjoyed the sentiment of Jill Birdup like acting it out, so I felt like I'd really enjoy it. And so I think this is a great tandem read with the audiobook and the physical, so I will pick it up eventually. I'm thinking this fall is when I'll come back to it. It's a DNF for now. I would still recommend it. Then we have Gunshot Residue by Jacob Williams. Hi, that's me. This is why it gets a little murky. I'm not going to say anything about it. I'm not going to tell you what I rated it. It's obviously a 5. I wrote it, so I'm a little biased. But we're doing last minute changes and little edits to these final copies of the final editions to get uploaded and also get put it into the new book. That's just what I'm doing. But yeah. Okay. This follows Alex as he believes his husband is cheating on him, and he soon realizes that there's a bigger conspiracy going on that he didn't realize, and we're following like all of that. Very fun, very cute. It's an adult romance that is spicy and is quite violent. It's romantic suspense. Just prepare yourself, and we'll go through. I'll tell you the sequels as well. They're down below if you want to read them. They're also on my website. Okay, Carl's Doomsday Scenario by Matt Dinneman. This is the second book in Carl's Dungeon Crawler Carl. I was actually hoping to read book 2, book 3, and book 4 this month, and I only got around to 2 because I got a little distracted with other stuff, which is a little annoying. I love this. This was a 4.5. I felt like it really came together by the end, even if I didn't love everything before it. I don't know if that makes any sense. I just really liked it. I already talked to you what Dungeon Crawler Carl is about, so we're just gonna move on. Next one we're gonna talk about is Brimstone by Callie Hart. I'm giving this a 3.75. These last few books will be popping up in a vlog coming soon because I originally was going to film a sequel video and that video fell apart. So I did read a bunch of sequels in the video, but not enough as much as I wanted. And so yeah, either way. One of those books would be Brimstone by Callie Hart. This is a sequel to Quicksilver. Quicksilver I really enjoyed. I gave it a 4.5. I was really looking forward to Brimstone. I didn't really care for this up until like, I'd say maybe 40 or 50% into it. And then the back half I fucking ate. I loved it. It was amazing. But the first half I didn't really care for. But I'm excited for the third one. Maybe it will be the final one. I don't know. The first one follows our main character Sarah as she is brought into the Fey world because of Kingfisher, and she can manipulate a matter called Quicksilver, which is an alchemist, which is really hard like to do. Yeah. Lots of other stuff going on. This book has to deal with not even really about phase, but yeah. And then I read P49, which is a sequel to Gunshot Residue. That's all you need to know. Then I read Project Hail Mary. This was for a video that I posted and already did, which is where I reviewed both the movie and the book, in my opinions. I'll link you over to it. This is by Andy Weir. This follows our main character. I was going to say Lindsay. I don't think that's right. Grace. As he is stuck out in space. He doesn't know why he's stuck in space. He just knows he is. And he's trying to figure out what's going on. And then he meets a little creature as well. And it's about their bond while they're trying to save the sun. I landed on a 4 for it. Like I said, I have a whole review based around it. And then I picked up Nick Blake and the Remarkables, the sequel to the Book of Anansi. This is a book I've been really anticipating and it's been on my list for a long time now, and I'm really happy I got around to it. I didn't love it as much as I loved the first book. This is another one where I feel like by the end it really worked, but it took a minute for me to like fully understand what Andrew Thomas was doing here. But by the end I needed the next one. I wanted to read another 400 pages, so like it's doing its job. I gave it a 4.5. The first one follows our main character Nick, and she realizes that her dad had kidnapped her because she is slated to become this person who kills off this magical world. We're following her as she's rescuing her dad and understanding the politics and everything else from the first book. The second book takes place after the events, dealing with some fallout and stuff. It's good. I recommend. And then, lastly, the last one we're going to talk about is my book, Mr. St. James. This is the final book in that trilogy, and also part 3 if you're going to read it as a bind-up. Okay, that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what the books you read in the month of March are. I'll talk to you all next time. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.